Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is Kevin Carrier, who will be fighting on LFA 194. Hello, Kevin. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. And to be honest, you have a quite unusual career. So we, of course, we will talk about your next bout. But let's start from your break from 2017 to actually 2024.
Yeah.
If you can tell me what was the reason behind such a long break.
Yeah. So during my fight, I made my debut in Bellator, and I won my fight. But during the fight, I broke my hands, and I was suspended from the athletic commission. So I had to kind of try. Personally, I wanted to try to continue to compete. I had just turned pro. I did a sub only grappling competition, uh, which I won. But in the process, I tore my ACL. So I had to. I, they said it was partially torn at the first diagnosis. They said I'll just try some PT. So I went a few months without it, without a surgery or anything, but just didn't get better. So at about 9 months, I got the surgery, and then I was ready to compete back in the beginning of 2020. Took a fight, and then the pandemic shut the card down. So all the while, I'm in upstate New York, which doesn't have the biggest of scene out here. So my wife and myself, we tried to relocate out to South Florida because there's like MMA factories out there. I was training at Stanford for a little bit, and was starting to get my footing. And right when we were starting to think about competing again, we found out we were pregnant. So we ended up coming back up to upstate New York, and still the middle of the pandemic. It was like 2021 by the time we had the baby. But my son needed surgery, had another son right after we had him. And yeah, we finally got the wheels in motion May this year. Got back in there for Combat Zone, which is in New England. Won first round TKO, and yeah, just right back to it now. I was hoping to get back a little sooner. I was hoping for like August, but LFA is coming to my neck of the woods, so I threw my hat in for that. I was like, I'll sit out till October for that. So yeah, here we are.
I think that this is a quite crazy story because in 7 years, many things happen in your life, like really, really a lot.
Yeah. Actually, it's ironic because this fight will be 7 years to the day of my pro debut. So yeah, so it's almost like full circle at this point. It's like now things are really going to get back in motion. Like all respect to Combat Zone, I feel like I'm finally back on like the national platform, like right where I left off. Because Bellator is at the time it was right behind UFC, and it was like I won't say unheard of, but it was a big opportunity for me to make my pro debut on there. So like I got back on like more of a regional level, got my feet or my toes wet again, and now I'm ready to get right back to the national stage. And hopefully now time is of the essence, so I got to make the most of it. I'm not quite a 25-year-old kid anymore. Now I just turned 32, got 2 kids, so I got to make the most of it while I have time still.
And definitely, LFA is a great promotion, probably the best regional promotion.
Yeah.
So if you have to fight somewhere regional, it's the promotion to fight.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. We went to a few shows out there. My wife actually works for them, and I got to like witness the promotion, and it's top notch. It's up there with UFC and Bellator and all that stuff. It might not be looked at like it's in the top 3, but it definitely is. The skill set of the competitors is up there with anybody in the UFC. And you look at the track record on how many people have gone from there straight to the UFC or PFL or whatever it is. It's just unmatched in my opinion.
And when you got these injuries in 2017 or a little bit like later,
Yeah.
did you feel that maybe the like you like MMA career is done for you? That maybe because of them you wouldn't be able to fight?
To be honest, no. I always kind of just thought it was just a bump in the road, and to be honest, it allowed me to because I kind of went pro kind of quick. I had my amateur career for four years, and I started a little later at that, like the most in this generation. I started competing at 21, and within uh my first 8 months of training, I had 6 amateur fights, and then I had another 5 fights a year and a half after that. So I just kind of rushed my amateur career a little bit just to hurry up and go pro. And I feel like if I went straight into competition after competition, like a lot of people out here do, I probably would have not had the most success. I feel like I allowed myself to hone my craft and get better. And I started traveling to train up in New England, like I said, out in Florida, go with pros, go with a bunch of guys that are top ranked in the world. And it allowed me to grow knowledge, skill, but it also allowed me to grow confidence and feel like I know where I belong as far as the skill sets go. So by the time I fought again, the 7 year break didn't really feel like a break at all. It just felt like just a minor absence. It felt like a new professional debut, to be honest with you. It felt like a whole new career, uh, wiping the slate clean because not many people would know what I look like at that time because of a 7 year gap. I mean, there's not much footage on you at that time. And I got to see a lot of mistakes I was making prior. And I had a lot of time to sharpen that up while the competition didn't get to see that. And they still don't get to see it because it was a 1 round bout. So I still feel like I have a lot more to show that hasn't been shown yet.
And to be honest, when I watched your fight on the Bellator, it was 7 years ago, but this fight was really impressive. Of course, he was not maybe like a super high level guy, but
Yeah,
but you looked really good. And
thank you.
when somebody would see your debut in 2017, he could thought that he could think that in 2024 you are like 15-3 and we are fighting for some kind of some big promotion.
Yeah. I know. At that point, I probably I could have gotten a good amount of fights in within that time. I know one of my training partners now, John Piersma, he actually made his amateur debut after I made my pro debut, and between amateur and pro, he's had about 20 something fights in that time frame. And now he just fought the road to the UFC this past weekend. I'm like, damn, I see where his career is at this point, getting such a later start than me and still so far into his career. It's crazy. But, it just goes to show you can't really compare yourself to others. Everybody's path is different in this, and it's a beautiful part of the sport. So I'm just excited to see what my journey has in store for me personally.
And in your next fight, of course, it will be a LFA bout. It will be a fight against Tyler Jones. And did you have a chance to watch any of his fights and any footage of him?
So yeah, no, I was originally scheduled to fight Tyler Jones. As of last week, he pulled from the fight. I did watch a lot of footage, not a lot. I watched a couple fights of his. He's definitely good. He's a gamer. I think I would have got him out of there. Respectfully to him, I think just has a lot of holes in his game. Uh, he does have a lot of good offense as well. But I think I would have been able to evade that and uh, capitalize on his mistakes. But maybe at a later point that fight can be rescheduled. Like I said, he had to pull. I think he got injured, and now we actually just got a new name today. There was some back and forth on a few options. Signing the contract. I don't know if I can say the name or not. I don't know until it's official, but it's official now. I've got a new opponent coming up. So
And like not telling any names, but are you happy that this change happened? And do you have a time to be fully prepared for like another opponent?
yeah. To be honest, we're approaching week 7 to 6 for fight week or fight camp. So it's basically like still a whole camp left. I remember my last camp, I did an 8 week camp. It was my first one in years, obviously. By week 3, I was like, fuck, man, pardon my language. I'm just ready to fight. I'm just ready to fight. Like, it was such a long camp that's like, it gets kind of wearing thinking about the same thing for such a long period of time. Some blessing in disguise. I haven't watched much footage on this guy, and to be honest with you, I don't want to overthink it, so I'm just going to go in there and fight. Like I said, there's still so much time that at this point, this opponent can change. I'm just hoping that I have somebody to step in there for me October 18th, just so I could show my skill set, what I'm about personally, show what I'm about on this guy respectfully.
And of course, you were back like a few months ago, but still, the like 7 year break was quite a long one. And for now, do you
Yeah.
feel this kind of hunger that you want to be there, like in the cage, and you want to finish your opponent quickly, or you just want to like take your time and be in the cage a little bit more, just to feel it?
To be honest, back in my amateur career, I was trying to like draw fights out a little bit just to kind of get comfortable in there. I think I've gotten between fighting under the lights and then like just fights in the gym, because a lot of times they're not just sparring sessions, they end up being real fights, just behind closed doors. I think I've got my hours in right now. I'm trying to make highlights right now because that's what they care about. And like, I got to get fast tracked at this point if I want to make something of myself. I got to kind of get there quick. And whether it's PFL, whether it's UFC, whether it's whatever else, they like highlight reels. They like knockouts. They like finishes. Um, and that's what I'm looking to showcase. I'm not looking to showcase. Like, I watch my Bellator fight now, and you said it was impressive. I watch and I cringe now because I'm like, oh God, I could have got this guy out of there so much sooner, but a lack of knowledge at the time prevented that. I feel like now if I go to decision, I'm doing a disservice to myself. And like, we don't get paid by the hour. Plus this show, they have fight of the night and knockout of the night bonuses. I'm trying to avoid the fight of the night stuff, but the knockout of the night, I'm trying to get those personally.
It's the fight of the night is great from fans perspective, but probably not the best from fighter perspective.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of there cognitively in check. I've got 2 kids now, and that's my biggest priority in life, is to make sure if I'm gonna do this selfishly, I've got to come out intact like I went in there. So uh that's my biggest goal with it. Yeah, get money, make memories, all of that, make a name for myself, make something that I'm proud of to my kids unscathed.
And in the fights that I have a chance to watch, you are a very good striker. But did you have any like previous background before MMA, like in any kind of striking sport, like boxing, maybe kickboxing?
No, I didn't. To be honest, I had a false sense of security at how good of a striker I was when I first started. Uh, you know, I started going around with better people, and that really helped me uh, improve, and just kind of taking my time and honing the skills. Uh, yeah, no, like I said, I started training at 20. Was not a boxer. I had decent hands for MMA. So I had to kind of adapt. And learn my own style of striking per se. So yeah, no, uh, uh, time asking me, are you a striker? I consider myself just a mixed martial artist. I think everything kind of just. I think I'm a good boxer. I'm a good kickboxer. I think I'm a good wrestler. I think I'm a good jujitsu player. But personally, I think I'm a great MMA fighter.
And actually, I on your topology page, I saw that you have like a few grappling bouts in
Yeah.
this year, I believe. So it means that of course in like MMA, you when I have a chance to watch your fight, you are a good striker. But when you are competing in grappling competition and you are winning the bouts, it means that you are not like one trick pony.
The professional MMA scene out in upstate New York is almost, I won't say it's non-existent. We have a lot of talent out here, but the issue is we don't have promotions regionally to showcase our talent. A lot of us have to go travel New England, Jersey, get on these big shows if we're granted the opportunity. Um, but yeah, so I hadn't fought in so long, and we have a big amateur scene out here. One of the amateur promotions, they're able to somehow, there's like loopholes around it where you can have like pro kickboxing fights, you can have pro grappling fights, but for some reason you can't have pro MMA fights within like it's a money thing. It's a money thing. So they offered me a chance to do a grappling match, and I said yeah. It was short notice. It was like a week's time frame, and I was like, sure, I mean, I was training. Um, and it was in an MMA cage because it was in the middle of an amateur show. So I got the feeling of a walkout. I got the feeling of competing in front of a crowd. I got in a cage, all of that. I got the walkout, and I did two of them because I got another opportunity like 2 months later on short notice like that. And the first one, it was like the warm up wasn't right, but I went out there and I got a flying triangle in a minute and a half. And then the next one, I felt like the warm up was more dialed in. I felt mentally better, and I went out there and got a like guillotine, I think, in a minute and a half. So both of those, I felt like they were perfect little segues to getting back into professional mixed martial arts, and it helped my mental state. It helped my warm up. It helped my just competition in general for when I actually fought again. And yeah, no, I think that answers that question.
So it's actually a very good thing that you have a chance to maybe not fight, but be in the cage, be doing
Yeah,
the same thing. Of course, you are not like punch in the face, but
yeah,
still everything except that is a similar thing.
right. And so like I said, they also do professional kickboxing bouts and stuff. And I was overthinking the comeback a little bit because it was so long. I was like, all right, I did a grappling competition. Next, I'm going to do a kickboxing match just to make sure I'm. And some of my teammates were like, dude, you're ready. Like, they're like, you're messing people up in the gym left and right. Like, just go fight. Trust me. Don't overthink it. Just go fight. And I was just like, I got an opportunity to do an MMA fight. And I'm glad I listened because I probably would have still been waiting at this point.
And right now, in what gym you are training in?
So I'm training at Synthesis Mixed Martial Arts. It's in Rochester, New York. My whole like amateur and professional career up to this, I was at Ultimate Athletics out in Syracuse, which is about an hour and a half away. Um, all my coaches are still over there as well. They both come from the same lineage, which is Bomb Squad from back in the day. Um, so they kind of bounce off one another very well. Um, and yeah, no, I had to move back over. I'm from Rochester. Uh, I moved to Syracuse after high school, and I started training out there. So when I ended up having our kids, we ended up moving back out to where we were both from. My wife and I are both from Rochester. and I'd cross trained out here a bunch in my years prior when I would come visit my family and stuff. So it was kind of an easy transition getting right into here once we moved. And they have a very good competition guy or team. Like I said, John Piersma is over here. They've got a bunch of amateurs. They have a couple other pros. We have a lot of cross training that goes on here as well with guys like Jake Bone, Jake Hicksonbaugh, Liam Anderson, who also just fought in the UFC. Bone and Hicksonbaugh are both going to be on this card. And like I said, out in Syracuse, we've got guys like Tim Fargo, Dan Gura, Vincenzo Iannuzzo, who's also fighting on this card. So upstate New York, like I said, there might not be a big like ring for us to compete on. There is a lot of talent out here, and we all just kind of play off one another.
I think that this is good because this is probably the most important thing, to be in the like right environment, have a
Right.
good coaches and sparring partners. And I believe that also when you were in Florida, at least from the like Instagram, I saw that you have a chance to train at Kill Cliff.
Yeah.
So it's like you have also this kind of experience
Yeah.
in this like super big gym.
Right. Yeah. So that was like a good little glance, right? So my buddy, so if I could just rewind just a little bit, but before before I ended up going to traveling to New England and training out there because one of my old teammates moved from New York out to New England. So I'd go out there and I'd train, and he was training at Lozon's gym, among other places. And at the time, they were doing big cross trainings on Saturdays with everybody in the area. So I got to like train with like people like Rob Font, Calvin Cater, Joe Lozon, just a bunch of people in the UFC. I remember the first day I was there, I saw Donald Cerrone in the place. And at the time, being in upstate New York, you get a bunch of high level guys with not a bunch of name value. Like I was training with I got to train with Pat Mix and stuff. But like at the time, he didn't have quite the same name. We all knew how good he was. He just didn't have the name recognition. Those guys had the name recognition and like they had that like star power. But I got to see where I kind of like stacked up. And one of the guys that I started training with out there that I actually became really good friends with was Randy Costa. And he moved to Florida, and he was like, the pandemic happened. And he was like, dude, if you come down here, like I'll get you in at Sanford. That's where I'm training right now. So my wife and I, we headed down there and started training there for only a handful of months. But I got to share the mats with people like Gilbert Burns, Michael Chandler, and a ton of people. A lot of people without the name value, which were just as good as the people with the name value. So it was all just very eye opening to me. Because a lot of times you see the people in the UFC and all that, you hold them to such a high caliber. You're like, this has got to be the best as it gets. But then you see them with people that are on the regional level and they're going neck and neck. And you're still on the regional level and like going neck and neck. And it's like, okay, this is a big eye opener. And it was a big thing that really helped with my confidence moving forward. Yeah. The preparation is the biggest thing down there, though. You might not get as much one on one time with the coaches, but there's always people on the mats, always. Out here, you get a little bit more one on one time. You get a little bit more love from the coaches and stuff without having to really like beg. So that's the difference, in my opinion.
And I think that overall in MMA there are like a lot of path to success. You can be in like super big gym, you can be in a local gym, you can train with big names, smaller names, but also skilled. So there are other, like many options for different kind of people. So it's not a like good answer and bad answer.
Absolutely. And I try to express that to the amateurs because they don't, I was there at one point. And like I said, you hold people to such a degree until you actually get to like move with them, until you get to like feel what they feel like. Like, listen, man, we're all humans. We all put our pants on the same way, you know. We all bleed the same blood. Nobody's that much different. You just gotta, you know, we're all we're all equal. It just depends on how much you want it, how much you're willing to work for it, how much you're willing to be a student in the game and a sponge. So, you know, I advise anybody that's coming up to like try it out. Go to one of these big gyms, see what it feels like, and you know, but don't think that it's the end all be all. So many people look at it like that's the answer. And it is, but it is necessary. It's 100% necessary. I think at some point, uh, I think you know, I'll find myself, whether it's cross training or moving or whatever it is, I'll find myself doing that again.
And right now you of course have the bout scheduled, but after
Yep.
this how active would you like to be, like they like considering that you are not injured or something bad will not
Yeah.
happen?
Well, my goal was to get 3 fights in this year. I was planning, so I fought in May. My game plan was to fight by August, and then, you know, one more to close out the year. This is October 18th. Might be pushing it, but we'll see. We'll see what opportunities come along. I'm going to go opportunity based, but I want to stay active. Obviously, all things considered. I want to make sure that it works out with the family and everything, obviously, because it gets a little tough. It does get a little tough having 2 babies under one just turned 3, the other one's turning 2 in November. It does get tough, but I'm definitely looking to stay very active personally. Like I said, I got a small window to work with here, so it's those, quite honestly, those make or break years as far as the competition facet of my career goes. So trying to definitely get back in there soon. Ideally end of the year, early next year.
But I think that with few wins, when you will be like 5 or 6 and know like many like better promotion, even like PFL or Bellator, if it still
Yeah,
existed, could consider you and a very good option, especially that you have this Bellator bout few years ago. So I think that when you will be active, you can be in the big promotion quite soon, in like middle of the
thank,
next year.
thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it just depends on my energy output and how you know, I think I've got a very good path laid out for myself. I think I just have to capitalize, you know. It's just that's the biggest part of it. You know, as long as I stay the course and do what I'm supposed to do, which is go out there, knock people out, submit people, continue to try to make a name for myself. I think there's a very good road to success paved for me.
And when you were back in the cage at Combat Zone, like considering the big break, how nervous were you when you went to the cage, or even a few hours before that you know that you did it a lot of great things before, and of course you are doing this kind of things in training, but right now you need to go to the cage and show everybody how good you are.
To be honest, it was some of the like least amount of pressure I felt going into a fight. Oddly, it was. I was just ready to go. To be honest, I thought I was gonna overthink this. I thought I was gonna be nervous. I thought I was gonna feel nerves. It was almost like offsetting how much I didn't feel nerves. I was just ready to go. I was ready to get in there. I honestly, I felt a little crazy, psychotic, because it's. I won't say it's your typical sport or game or anything like that. Like I've always looked at it like a gamesmanship, like this is a competition. This one felt like war. This one felt, and I was very confident. There's no way this guy's, respectfully to him, I felt like there was no way that this guy's taken from taking what I want from me. And I was like, this is my time to prove it. And yeah, it would have been something crazy to have to beat me that night. And I feel like if I just keep channeling that, I feel like I'm a hard person to beat.
So you definitely won that war.
Yeah, for sure.
And when you are thinking about your maybe not even next fight, but fights after this, do you have a like style that you would like to face? Maybe like a high level kickboxer, maybe a good wrestler, something like this. Do you have this kind of preferences?
So honestly, so like the guy who I was originally supposed to fight, he was a real good brown belt, but he looked like more of a guard player. He wrestled in high school, but I feel like he thinks his stand-up's a little bit better than it is. Uh so like because he would go and drop everybody he fought. But he would also get rocked in every fight. So I looked at that like this guy is dangerous everywhere. This guy's dangerous everywhere. And then he pulled, and a couple of the names I was flirting with, undefeated guys, real good grapplers, or just like scary all around. I was like, fuck it, screw it. I'll fight him wherever it goes. This one seems like more of a stand-up guy, competent on the ground. And I'm just like, at this point, it's just like, I just got to be fluid with whatever comes my way. Uh, if there, to be honest, just somebody that's going to be exciting, somebody that wants to bring action, bring not just hold per se. And I know, a lot of people get that misconstrued. I'm not talking about like if somebody's able to hold you down, so be it. Like, I mean, if you can't stop it, you can't stop it. That's on you. But I mean, somebody that's willing to bring action. Like, if they're coming to grapple me, they're looking to finish me. They're not just looking to just hold me against the cage and just eke out a decision. I have a very entertaining style. I feel like I have a very unorthodox style. I feel like it's like a technical unorthodox, like it's a hard puzzle to crack. Um, but like at the same time, I feel like it does need the proper dance partner because I think I can put on very entertaining fights with my style. Um, I think I could beat anybody on any given day, but I think it'll be more entertaining if somebody is more of a finisher, whether that is stand up or ground.
Okay, Kevin. So many thanks for the conversation. I think that many fans can be excited about you being back, especially in the big promotion, because LFA is one of the top promotions. And I think that with your style, you will give definitely fans what they want. So good fights and probably a finish.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. I appreciate that very much. Yeah, I'm looking to you know, as much as people's opinions of you shouldn't like be the end all be all, I am looking to show you reckoned with and put a little respect on my name because I feel like due to the inactivity and potentially the skills, the level of competition I fought at so far, I feel like people could take it as it is what it is. I want to show people that I am as real as I know I am, and as real as my training partners and people who have shared the mat with me know I am. Now it's just on me to go and showcase that.